Good morning. It is 9:30 a.m. Thanksgiving morning. Happy Thanksgiving. 20 days ago, I had an experience while Uber driving. I was carjacked. So if you're an Uber driver, you're going to pay attention for the next 15 minutes or so as I tell you what happened because there was two pre-attack indicators, one in hindsight that was obvious after the fact and one that occurred that I should have been able to put together at the time and possibly avoided this situation. So, before I get into what happened on Friday, November 7th, just a little bit about me. I don't do YouTube videos. So, I'm just going to preface this right now and say I watch a lot of YouTube. I don't create any YouTube videos. I've been messing around with the Screen Pal for the last hour and a half. I'm not going to edit this. This is going to all be one take. I'm going to try to keep it as brief as possible, but expect mistakes. Okay, so about me. Typically, Monday through Thursday, I play poker. I live in the DC area, so I'll play at the MGM National Harbor. Sometimes I'll go to Parks Casino in Bensalem, which is just outside of Philadelphia. My weekends are either free and I'll spend it with friends and family, or if I want to make a little bit more money, I don't like to play poker on weekends, I'll Uber drive. Back in the past, I would Uber drive more frequently. It would be more of a full time job. Right now, I just typically do it on weekends. So I decided the day before that I was going to Uber drive that weekend. So when I Uber drive, I actually start very early in the morning. So I wake up. It's probably a little bit before 3 when I wake up. And my first ride of the day, I start in Fort Washington. So this is my first ride of that day. Trying to do my best review bra here. Show you guys where the ride was. It started at 3:13 in the morning from Bonini Road to Marion Barry. So I remember that ride. It was like like a daughter like yelling at her mom, whatever, like storming out of the house. I think I dropped her off at her boyfriend's house. Pretty typical, like in that area. Um, Nothing out of the usual, nothing out of the ordinary. All right, this is the actual ride we're going to discuss. So take a look at this one. This ride was 28 minutes, 24 seconds, 2.78 miles. Stanton Road to Stanton Road. This is a two-part ride. I'll explain what happens. So after I drop the first passenger off, I'm on my way to pick up this person. So I pull into the apartment complex. This is one of those where there's like this numbered building, then a little bit down the way, this numbered building, this numbered building. They're usually like very close to each other, just a couple numbers off. So I don't remember which number it was, but I go to that number. And instead of just turning in and facing the building, I I back in. So I back in and I'm waiting no longer than 20-30 seconds. It was not that long. And then I don't hear one, but I hear both rear passenger doors open. Excuse me. So that's not too unusual. I mean, you definitely get more one passenger rides that early in the morning than you do multiple, but it's not that far out of the ordinary. Just give me one moment so I can see where we're at. 4 minutes. Okay. Um, so that part was fine. I started driving off. What I didn't put together at the time, but in hindsight, in retrospect, I'm thinking about it. I actually don't recall where this exact situation ever happened. And what that is when both passengers get into the car, at no point during that ride did they ever communicate with each other. They were completely quiet in the back. That that is extremely unusual, to the point where I'm not sure where that has actually ever happened before. Sometimes you'll get shared rides and you'll have one passenger come in, you'll drive down where whatever, you'll get another request, you pick up another person. They don't know each other, they may not talk to each other, understandable. But when you pick multiple people up at the same location, they get in at the same time, they're usually talking to each other before they get in the car. Then they get in the car, they're still talking to each other. This didn't happen at all. I didn't put this together, but this might almost be like more out of the ordinary than what happens later, which I know is a pre-attack indicator. But if this happens, this is probably a bad fucking sign, to be honest with you, because I just don't, that just doesn't happen when two people get into the car at the same time and they don't say anything to each other. There's a reason for that. It's probably not a good reason. So this is a 2-part trip. I take them from the apartment complex to the BP gas station on the corner of Naylor and Alabama. This is not this is a top 3 area of DC to avoid. You don't you know, let's just say I've restructured the way I Uber drive since this has happened. They get out of the car and they go to the gas station window because they don't let people in the gas station at this time. So they're talking to the clerk through the window. When they, so I'm just kind of just like, I'm listening to, so when I Uber drive, I usually have 1 or 2 headphones in, and there's just a whole bunch of YouTube content that I'm listening to. So like all kinds of stuff, poker, crypto, political, all kinds of stuff. So I'm listening to, at that time it was Judge Andrew Napolitano interviewing Max Blumenthal. This was from the previous day. Hadn't had a chance to listen to this, so I'm listening to it now this morning. But I'm also watching what's going on. They come back to the car, and for the first time now, I see. So it was these two hood rats that left my car. They're like dressed in like pajamas, whatever, just you know, typical for this particular area, that they go to the car, they go to the gas station window, and now they're coming back. And when they're coming back now, instead of seeing their faces, I see that they're both face masked. So that is a pre-attack indicator. There's a channel that I watch, Active Self-Protection. It goes over all kinds of these scenarios, real life situations, scenarios. And when you see this, at this hour, there's no good reason for them to be wearing face masks. The reason that they would do that, and I knew it was off in the moment, I just didn't put it together, but they're obviously just hiding their identity. That is the reason you do that. Like, there's no other real legitimate reason. So when I saw that, I probably should just left. Like, just end the ride right there. Adios. But I just thought it was weird. I knew it was weird. I knew something was off. But they come back into my car, and I start the second part of the trip, taking them right back to where I picked them up. This is not far from where I picked them up to where I took them to the gas station, is like maybe a mile, give or take a couple blocks. It's a short distance. So I start heading back, and I'm no more than maybe, I believe, half a mile, right around that range away. I still am listening to the YouTube, but it's like not that loud. I can hear if there's anything going on in the back. And I do hear, when we're getting close, half a mile away, I hear a loud hissing spray. That's the first thing that I hear. And then immediately afterwards, I can feel like that it turned out it was bear spray. It just hit me in the eyes, and just like immediate fire feeling, extreme pain. And I'm not going to say it at the decibel range that I exclaimed this earlier, but I remember verbatim what I said. So when that immediately happened, I screamed really loudly, "Oh, fuck. Oh, shit." But like 5 times louder. and I wasn't going fast. I was going traveling through a neighborhood at that time, maybe like 25 miles an hour. So when that happened, I hit the brakes and put the car into park. And my glasses fall off my face at some point. Probably like when like it hit me, I'm pretty sure I just like instinctively went to like block it or whatever. Knocked my glasses off my face. Without my glasses, I'm basically blind. But I stumble out of the car and just start kind of like running down, through the down the roadway through the neighborhood. And I can hear someone get into the driver's seat and drive off, but not like speed off, not where the tires are like squealing. Like they just drive off. And so I'm going through this neighborhood, like eyes on fire, no glasses. I can see all these houses around me. I see like these steps leading up to the back door of one of these houses, and I can see a light on through the glass door. So I go up there, knock on the door a bunch of times, like help, like help. I don't remember exactly what I was saying, but probably something to that effect. And maybe like 15, 20 seconds, again, like I can see through the door, like there's a kitchen with a light on, but nobody comes. And then I can hear like a car behind me down the road, because now I'm up on these steps. I'm maybe like 10 feet up off the ground. And I hear a car from down on the roadway be like, "Hey man, I saw what happened. Like, are you okay? They carjacked you, right? Is that what happened?" Something to that effect is what he says. And I'm basically like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." He's like, "Get in the car." He's like, "Come on, man. Well, I'll call the police." So I go down there, get in his car. Turns out this guy was an ex-cop, really, really nice, friendly black guy, helped me out a lot. He calls, I don't know if it was 911 or whatever, police, but and I don't remember like if he's definitely driving at this time, but at some point he pulls over. I don't remember where, if it was the same neighborhood. He's driving, but he pulls over, and eventually a bunch of cops congregate, and then this like EMT van, but it's not an ambulance, and it's not like an actual EMT van. It was like an emergency response vehicle or something like that. I don't know. I'd never seen one of these before, but they show up. They give me like the saline solution for my eyes. Definitely helps out a lot. And basically, for the next 30 minutes or so, like I'm giving a statement to a detective shows up. I'm telling the cops what the car looks like, the make, the model of it. OnStar won't do anything, even though it was like an actual carjacking. Like they're not. They I don't have OnStar, so they wouldn't like actually help us out and turn on tracking or whatever. But so all this happens, and I would say within 1 hour of the actual carjacking, uh, one of the detectives comes up to me like, "Okay, we got your car. We found your car. Let's go." And so they take us. Well, they take me. A couple other cops also go there. So they take me to this other neighborhood that's no more than like, it can't be more than like half a mile to a mile from where the carjacking actually took place. We go to this other neighborhood that's very, very close by. And my car is just parked along a curb in this neighborhood. And so I'm like, "Yeah, that's my car." And there's like a forensic team already there. They're like taking pictures, like they're in the back seat taking pictures. They're like dusting the steering wheel. They're doing all this stuff. And the detective's like, "Just let them do their work." Like 20 minutes later, he didn't give me a time, but he's like, "When they're done, you can go in your car, see what they took, see what's there, what's missing, whatever." So eventually I'm allowed in the car. My glasses are on the floor under like the steering wheel and stuff, so I'm assuming like I knocked them off my own face, most likely is what happened when like I got hit with the bear spray. So I get my glasses. My wallet, which had like $300-400 in cash, was like sitting like right in a very accessible location. But they didn't take it. They missed it. The only actual thing that they took was my phone, which I was listening to, which had the Uber app on it, which is why I was never able to actually end that trip. So they took my phone, and then the more important thing they took was the key. So the key is what ended up like costing me $700, because I had to have it towed to the Chevrolet in Sweetland, Maryland. That cost me $200, and then to have the key remade was $500 basically. Like to have it programmed, to have it remade, cost me just under $500. So it was like almost $700 in total for that. Whereas if they had just left the key in the car, I could have avoided that. But yeah, so I mean, I go in. That's literally the only thing that they took was the phone. I checked everything else. Everything was still there. And yeah, eventually we the cops called like the tow guy. The tow guy came over, really nice guy, helped, got the car on, took it to the dealership. The dealership. Let me see where we're at time wise. 15 minutes. Okay. Yeah. It took all day. Like my eyes were like just like burning because like, I mean, you don't want to get hit with this bear spray. It was the after effects just for like a week to 10 days, it was still lingering and still causing me issues. The immediate, like, for like the first 3 days after that happened was just almost as bad as the initial day. It was just really, really painful. The first shower I took after this all happened, just brutal, brutal. Um, like it, it, this is not an experience that you want to have befall that you want to have. All right. Um, so, but yeah, eventually the pain dissipated as time went on, and the detective that got transferred my case is the one that does the carjackings for the DC area, Detective Naples. I spoke to him that day. I haven't spoken to him since, so I may want to get in contact with him, but that's pretty much where we're at. So I'm not sure if these two hood rats have been caught yet. I I don't think so. I think I would have probably been told that. So I will ask Detective Naples that probably tomorrow. It's Thanksgiving. I don't want to bother him. But yeah, those pre-attack indicators are very important if you're an Uber driver. If two people come into the car and they're not talking, that's that's very unusual, and you should probably be a little bit concerned. And if someone is wearing a mask, I mean, you still see it. The thing is, like, I do have like older people come into the car wearing masks, and I understand like their immune systems are like not as good. I get it. You also it just depends. Location, where you're picking them up. Like, you do have to put all of this stuff. You have to just like take all of this stuff into account, because there are definitely situations where if it's the middle of the day and you're in a certain neighborhood and a certain kind of person is wearing a mask and they come up to your car and you're picking them up and and something seems off, you probably just need to cancel that ride. Like, that's like, I don't Uber now in certain areas, in like areas that are flourishing with diversity. I'm just like, we'll leave that for somebody else. You suffer an experience like this, like it will either it will change you one way or another. And if you already start off with a certain perspective, this will like accelerate and pour like gasoline on the fire in terms of like what in terms of like your views and what should be done for people that do these kind of things. Like, I always thought like, if you do carjacking, you probably should not see outside of a prison cell ever again. I don't care what mitigating circumstances there were, if any. It's a violent crime. After it happens to you, I've amended my views slightly in that they we just don't need you anymore. Like, you pretty much just punch your ticket off the planet. It's sort of a lot of a lot of people just, I don't know. I think I want to go more into detail in a future video because I have a lot of thoughts on the matter, and I don't want to keep this video too much longer. We're at 20 minutes already. But I definitely have been radicalized by this event. And I've always been a staunch advocate for justice and punishment for crimes. But this has changed my views on that in a way that I'm just going to I would like to take basically 10 to 15 minutes more to describe, and I'm not going to keep this video and just kind of go off topic. I've described the situation, what happened, if you're an Uber driver, what to look for. I want to keep it at that. And in a future video, what I think justice looks like for the perpetrators of this crime in this exact instance. And then I say my piece about that, put the lid on the whole situation, and that's the end of this, event that occurred. So, with that said, happy Thanksgiving, guys. And if you're an Uber driver, stay safe out there.